Okay, so let's talk about Tommy Tuberville and his single-handed ability to try to destroy the military. And if you're new to my channel, I rant about um, mostly culture war issues, but generally whatever is important to me under the lens of current events. And this current event is Tommy Tuberville um, blocking appointments in the military because of wokeness or something. But anyway, to the article. The Pentagon says there are 301 generals and admirals whose nominations have been placed in limbo because of an indefinite hold by Senator Tommy Tuberville, a Republican from Alabama, who wants the military to change its policy of reimbursing service members for travel to get reproductive care, including abortions. Because, it's just bad luck on the part of the service members that they get pregnant in a state that thinks that they know better than doctors about what medical care person receives. So, oh, come on. By the end of the year, the Pentagon says that number could swell to 650 generals and admirals who need Senate confirmation before they can assume their jobs. Any single senator can put a hold on nominations under Senate rules. Okay, for a body that is clinging so hard to the fucking filibuster, where you need 60 senators to pass certain legislation. How is this possible that one senator can fuck up nominations? Now, it could be that it's because they wanted to prevent people from filibustering certain nominations, but is this better, really? I don't know. I honestly do not know how this happened. The department has 83 3- and 4-star nominations pending for positions already vacated or due to rotate within the next 150 days, the Pentagon said in response to questions by reporters. Because of this blanket hold, for the first time in the history of the department, 3 of our military services are operating without Senate-confirmed leaders. This is unprecedented, unnecessary, and unsafe. Yes, it's unsafe. I mean, how can you whine that our military isn't ready for whatever boogeyman you think is coming down the pike? Which Tommy Tuberville is one of those who seems to think that there's a boogeyman behind every corner. But yet you won't confirm the very people that could help with military readiness. Because wokeness or something. The Navy, Army, and Marine Corps are without top leaders because of the hold, and by the end of September, General Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, will retire by law. I take it that means that he's reached the mandatory age of retirement? He cannot be extended. The officer nominated to replace him, Air Force General C.Q. Brown, is also awaiting approval by the Senate. The Pentagon gave this further breakdown. 61 of those officers are unable to assume their new positions. More than 40 officers who have been selected to the grade of 1 or 2 stars will assume the duties of the higher grade while remaining in their current grade until they are confirmed. Generals and admirals are not authorized to have their date of rank backdated, so each of these officers will not receive a pay increase until they are performing the duties in the higher grade. In addition, 25 officers have their retirements deferred until the holds have been lifted or on December 31st, 2023, whichever occurs first, the Pentagon says. Which I'm going to say the end of the year is going to happen first, because I doubt that Tommy is going to stop this crusade in the next few months. May I suggest to the people of Alabama to kick this guy out, and, maybe he should go back to coaching football, though I wouldn't want to subject the football players to him either. In addition, 25 officers have had... Oh, wait, I read that already. Tuberville has argued that the Pentagon is violating the law by reimbursing service members who travel to states whose laws are more lenient for abortion care. I would love to hear how Tommy thinks this is violating the law. Those reimbursements came as a result of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, which for half a century made abortions legal. Now each state can come up with its own abortion policy. Oh, I know. You're not following the laws of the state because the federal government shouldn't be allowed to cross state lines or something. Does he know the difference between federal and state by any chance? The Pentagon says a small number of service members are getting reimbursed for trips to get reproductive care, which includes travel for in vitro fertilizations, but have yet to come up with any details. Now, I don't think Tommy cares that it's a small number. Based on this crusade against the LGBT plus community as well, and women in general, I'm going to say they don't give a shit about the size. If just one person is able to, unless it's them, they of course do not have to follow the law. The peons, yeah, absolutely. You guys are just cannon fodder. You shouldn't be allowed to, do things like access medical care. A federal law from the 1980s prohibits the federal government from paying for abortions. And my understanding is they're not. They're probably reimbursing the travel expenses, but that's not the same as paying for an abortion. Military, and by the way, not all reproductive care or healthcare in general for women is an abortion. But I'm sure Tommy wouldn't know that because I'm sure he hasn't seen a woman ever, let alone touched her. Military and civilian officials argue that the payments are solely for transportation, not care. Yes. But Tuberville has stood firm. Of course he has, because he's a fucking moron. He says he won't change his mind until Democrats allow a vote on the policy. A vote on what policy, Tommy? The policy that you made up in your head? I'm sorry that some people get reimbursed for transportation to do things you don't like, but guess what? It's still them going out for health care. It is not up to you to decide who is allowed health care. For all we know, they might be going out for abortions, but they're being reimbursed for transportation, not the procedure. So, what? Oh, I understand. They shouldn't even be allowed to be reimbursed for transportation because Let's make it as difficult as possible for people who are willing to die for this country to not access medical care. Right. And their families. Because I'm sure Tommy is under the impression that it's just, floozies who, had a one-night stand who, oh no, I got pregnant, let's go get an abortion. I'm sure he thinks that. I wouldn't be surprised. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has made 3 calls to Tuberville, urging him to abandon the holds. Yeah, good luck with that. Not only is it your policy, but you're a black man. Yeah, that is not going to work with Tommy Tuberville. We know he's a fucking racist. One defense official tells NPR the conversations are short. I'm sure they are. With Tuberville asking if the Pentagon will abandon its policy, and members of the Senate have lashed out at Tuberville. Good. I hope it's other Republicans as well, because if it's just Democrats, Tuberville won't give a shit. Actually, if he's anything like Ted Cruz, he might not even give a shit if Republicans do. The senator from Alabama has chosen a profoundly insulting and damaging path to make his unhappiness known, said Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island, the top Democrat on the Armed Services Committee. The Senate has always treated military nominations with respect and bipartisan support as part of a routine promotion process. Now they have been turned into political pawns by the senator from Alabama. Please, 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 Alabama, kick him out the next time he's up for election. Moreover, military spouses are also urging Tuberville to end his hold. Like he gives a fuck about military spouses. You think he actually cares about women? Of course he doesn't. Tanya Murphy, whose husband is a Navy commander, delivered a petition to senators signed by 500 spouses. The senator says he has a letter signed by 5,000 veterans supporting his position. I'm sure he does. No, really, I'm sure he does. I'm sure there are military veterans who do feel that way because, there are assholes in every profession. I warned the Pentagon that I would hold their most senior nominees if they broke the law, Tuberville said in a statement. Yet you still haven't shown how any law was broken. First reported this week by Breitbart News, because that's a reputable source. They did it anyway and forced my hand. No, sweetie, it's just your fantasy. Since then, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and the Biden administration have refused any serious negotiations, and so the situation has dragged on. No, do not blame the Biden administration for your hissy fit about some fantasy in your head because someone somewhere it might be having an abortion, because we can't have that unless it's you who is paying for an abortion. I'm sure that you'll be perfectly fine doing that. I will continue this process of oversight, and I will announce my opposition to specific nominees in the weeks ahead. Would somebody please get rid of him? And I'm talking about the voters. Do not even begin to think I'm suggesting assassination. The hope among officials is that Tuberville will at least allow some nomination to go forward for a vote when the Senate returns in September. Yeah, good luck with that. Specifically for the incoming chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who serves as a top military advisor to the president. I'm not sure what world you live in, but that is some false hope. Because, no, he's not going to do that. Because he is an asshole who has decided that his little pet issue is much more important than the security of the United States. So yes, people of Alabama, please kick this man out, because he is a danger to the country. I'm sure many of you, and including him, will rail about the military readiness because we're become soft or something. Well, part of military readiness is having people in place, like military leaders. You cannot have a working military without leaders. And this man is single handedly preventing those leaders from taking office. So, no, it's not wokeness that's preventing the military from being ready. It's assholes like Tommy Tuberville who seem to think that if a woman is getting an abortion, the world is coming to an end. So anyway, I'm going to stop there because he's just a horrible excuse for a human being. And I will see you in the next video.